two of the most powerful sorcerers ever are going to be facing off. Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, is taking on Kent Nelson, Dr. Fate. In a day where we're going to analyze their strengths and weaknesses, their powers and abilities, their fighting skill, and of course their magic. All of it, to find out who wins in the battle arena. Let's do it. What's up guys, I'm Daniel and this is DanCo. We do fight breakdowns every week, plus the occasional power ranking video like this one or things like that. So if that seems interesting to you, we'll sit back and enjoy the video. Hit that like button. If you want to, we'll hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Now let's get to it. So starting out, well, there's this Scarlet Witch, the one who's destined to take down the Sorcerer Supreme, the most powerful magical being in the MCU. So for most of her life, Wanda Maximoff's powers were essentially operating on autopilot, just running in the background of her life, really just surfacing in the form of telekinesis and telepathy, plus some energy powers, which is shocking to think about, because her telepathy is enough to incapacitate half the Avengers, force them to live out twisted nightmares. It's enough to control whole cities several times. It's enough for Wanda to overpower and tap into the Mind Stone, one of the most powerful objects in the universe. And it's enough to even get into the minds of other witches and sorcerers. Her telekinesis is enough to hold up a crashing air traffic control tower, lift up these massive waves of threshers up into the air, then send them crashing to the side, overpower leviathans, peel back Ultron's impenetrable vibranium body, and even block attacks from Thanos, and then completely and totally overpower Thanos, leave him helpless and in her control. And then her energy powers are enough to destroy the Mind Stone, while simultaneously holding back Thanos with the 5 other Infinity Stones. So yeah, no big deal there. And it's really no surprise that Scarlet Witch is now the most powerful hero in the MCU. We really should have seen it coming all along, because all of this are powers not even operating at her full potential. So what is Wanda's true potential, you might ask? Well, honestly, we don't really know for sure. I bet she's even got more to show us, but we do have a pretty good gauge now. Like, take the Westview Hex, for instance. She was able to perform some massive reality-warping feats on such a huge scale, just a ginormous scale. And the most impressive thing is she did it with no known skill, no preparation beforehand, all while other sorcerers would have required like a master level skill and weeks of preparation to pull off something like that. And they couldn't even operate on the scale Wanda was. It would be on a smaller scale with all the preparation and all that skill and everything. And again, for the most part, all of this was Scarlet Witch's magic running on autopilot. So if this was on autopilot, if all this insane stuff that she was doing before was just barely tapping into her powers, what can she do now that she is the full-blown embodiment of the Scarlet Witch? Well, for starters, she can beat Doctor Strange. She can beat Wong. She can beat 2 Sorcerer Supremes at once and take down Kamar-Taj. All the forces of the mystic arts combined, all at once. So yeah, no big deal. She was destined to either rule or destroy the world, making her essentially a planetary threat. She started casting spells like dream walking, allowing her to jump from universe to universe. Doctor Strange was pretty well convinced that Wanda was becoming, or had already become, a universal level threat. Kent Nelson is one of the founding members of the Justice Society, and when he puts on the mystical helmet of fate, well, he can transform into the magical sorcerer Dr. Fate, servant of the Lords of Order. After living in isolation for many years in the Tower of Fate, looking for inner peace, Fate received a vision of Black Adam killing all the Justice Society. So Fate rejoined the team to go and stop Black Adam. determined to not let his vision of the future become a reality. Using the Helmet of Fate, Kent Nelson is able to receive immense magical powers from Naboo, a Lord of Order, a being who's millions of years old, and he can now defend the world from magical threats as Dr. Fate. And he's been practicing magic for 100 years. So by this point, he definitely knows what he's doing. He can teleport in an instant, traveling anywhere that he wants. And he can also project his astral form from his body, sending it to talk to Black Adam in China, or freeing Black Adam from the Argus prison in Russia, all while he's still in Kondak. He can create massive and detailed illusions, fire out beams and bolts of magical energy, and create energy constructs, like when he was able to pierce through Black Adam and seriously hurt him. Dr. Fate is also able to create energy shields, and some seriously powerful ones at that. They can block attacks from Black Adam, even block the big giant explosions that he gets when he's a bit too angry. And these are almost passive shields as well. Dr. Fate created a shield that was powerful enough to hold back the other members of the JSA and keep that shield up all while he was still fighting Sabak and freeing Black Adam at the same time. Dr. Fate also loves to duplicate and create clone copies of himself, who basically have all the same abilities but are just made out of like crystals. And these clones are powerful enough to hold back Black Adam and hold back Sabak. So, who wins here? Who's coming out on top? Well, like I said, these are the two most powerful sorcerers out there. Probably the two best magic users in each of their respective universes. But funny enough, I don't think Dr. Fate's greatest ability here is necessarily his magic. I think the biggest advantage he's got going on is just his straight up physical strength. These clones were able to fight against both Black Adam and Sabak, and not just fight against them, but actually hold them back and hold their own. And Black Adam and Sabak are on par with each other here. Black Adam was set up to directly be on par with Superman and one of Superman's true equals. And well, Superman is Superman. You know he's strong. And I guess that's kind of a roundabout way of saying that Dr. Fate and all of his clones are real strong too. Like strong enough to hold Scarlet Witch back, knock her out with one punch. Either way, Dr. Fate could overpower Scarlet Witch. But I guess I take that back, because it really does depend on what you think about Scarlet Witch. Because the Darkhold does amp your physical abilities along with all your magical ones. We know that much. And it amped Wanda enough to where she could take a dimension punch from America Chavez. Now you could look at this punch as one that just sent out shockwaves for miles around, or you could look at it as even more impressive in a punch that ripped straight through dimensions. Either way, Scarlet Witch took it square on the jaw. And plus, she's fought against Captain Marvel before. I think she can handle Dr. Fate's clones. But what about Fate's speed? I mean, he's blocking lightning from Black Adam. He's able to react to explosions, even just keeping up with Black Adam in a fight. Yeah, I would say the guy's pretty fast. But Scarlet Witch can absolutely do all that same stuff too. Blocking photon blasts from Captain Marvel, react to explosions. She's even keeping up with speedsters too. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a stretch to say that Dr. Fate is way faster than Scarlet Witch, or even say that Fate way outclasses Wanda physically, which might be a little problematic for Dr. Fate, because he's supposed to be the world's greatest sorcerer, cast illusions, project your soul onto the astral plane, break an enemy's mind, teleport anywhere in the world, etc., etc. And while Fate can do all of that stuff, he doesn't tend to rely on it in a fight. Like, look at his fight against Sabak, a demon channeling the powers of hell and ready to take on the world. Pretty big threat, right? Well, Dr. Fate fought against him by just throwing clone after clone at him, with the occasional ink or something like that. A very physical fight, especially by magic standards. And if you think, oh, well, that's just because Fate was trying to buy them time for Black Adam to show up, he wasn't actually going all out. Well then, I would like to point out that that's the exact same way he fought against Black Adam, minus an illusion or two. So I'm beginning to think that's just how Black Adam fights. We've already seen that Fate likely isn't going to physically beat up on Wanda. She'll probably just do the weird demon crawl thing and make her way out of the ink. I don't think Fate's usual strategy is going to be effective against Scarlet Witch. Meanwhile, Scarlet Witch's usual strategy is just to unleash hell. She'll throw everything at an opponent and won't stop till most of the time they're dead. And yeah, that usually looks like telekinesis or energy blast of chaos magic or things like that. But she's not afraid to get a little fancy with it too, even casting a giant hex where your powers just don't work inside the hex. Basically, while it's impressive that Fate was able to last so long against Sabak, Wanda should genuinely just be on a whole other level. I mean, look at what Doctor Strange said. Doctor Strange was pretty well convinced that if she captured Chavez and drained her power for herself, Wanda would have been able to conquer every universe. Not because he thought Chavez was this great and powerful being, but because it meant Wanda would have gained full access to all other realities, meaning that she could fight as far as she could go, and now she could go everywhere. And not just that, but beat up everyone that she finds along the way. Now, that is a pretty big claim, and I doubt that claim even actually holds up. What, given his lack of knowledge and experience and all that? I mean, he didn't even know that the multiverse truly existed until Spider-Man No Way Home. So I really doubt he knows about a version of Ultron out there that killed Thanos and took all the Infinity Stones, or about the Watcher. So we can't say that he was completely correct when stating that Scarlet Witch would be able to conquer every single universe. However, still proves that Strange believed Wanda was superior to every villain he's already faced in the past, because he definitely knows that there are multiverse versions of all of them, and that includes Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, and Dormammu, and all of them. He believed the Scarlet Witch was capable of winning. And if that's truly the power that she's at, well then I think it's safe to say that she can win this one here too. Scarlet Witch wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.